Atlanta thought the drama stayed in the clubs and on reality TV. But this time, the chaos hit the courthouse, and it was uglier than anyone imagined. In a shocking turn of events, Lil Scrappy's mom stormed into court and unleashed pure fire on Bambi, sending the room into total meltdown. Witnesses say her voice shook the walls, her words cut deep. And the judge could barely keep order as the accusations flew like bullets. But the real bombshell, the courtroom showdown, was triggered by Stevie J's secret tapes so explosive that whispers say they could destroy reputations, marriages, and even entire careers. Phones lit up, social media exploded, and fans can't believe what they're hearing. What's on those tapes? And why did Scrappy's mom decide this was the moment to go off? The answer might change everything. Courtrooms are supposed to be quiet, rigid places where rules keep chaos out. But in Atlanta, when reality TV stars walk in, rules shatter. What happened the moment Lil Scrappy's mom faced Bambi in front of a judge proved that the love and hip-hop Atlanta drama doesn't stop at cameras, contracts, or clubs. It follows them everywhere. Even into the halls of justice, the scene was tense from the start. Rows of people packed into the courtroom, reporters huddled in the back, fans whispering that something big was about to go down. Everyone knew this wasn't just a routine hearing. There was energy in the air, heavy and dangerous, the kind that made every person in the room sit on edge. At the center of it all sat Lil Scrappy's mom, Momma D, her presence impossible to ignore. Dressed to kill in a bold suit, her eyes sharp, her posture regal. She didn't come to play games. Every move she made, from the snap of her bag shutting to the way she adjusted her chair, carried tension. She wasn't just here to watch. She was here to speak. Across the room, Bambi shifted uncomfortably. Calm on the surface, but her eyes betrayed her. She knew what was coming, or at least she thought she did. For months, whispers had followed her about her marriage, about her fights with Scrappy, and now about the mysterious Stevie J tapes that had somehow become the center of the storm. The judge entered, and the room rose, but the respect for the gavel barely lasted a few moments. As soon as opening statements began, Momma D leaned forward, her voice already rumbling low like thunder ready to strike. People in the gallery exchanged glances. They could sense it. She wasn't going to stay silent. The first spark came when Bambi's lawyer attempted to address the court, painting her as calm, collected, and unfairly targeted in the media storm. Momma D scoffed, loud enough for the entire room to hear. Heads snapped in her direction. The judge shot her a warning glance, but she didn't flinch. Her eyes stayed locked on Bambi, the tension growing like a fuse burning down. Then, the words that cracked the room open. "You want to talk about unfair?" Momma D's voice sliced through the silence, her southern drawl shaking with fury. "What's unfair is what you've been hiding. What's unfair is the lies, the secrets, the tapes." Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Bambi's head snapped toward her, eyes wide, face tightening with anger. The judge banged the gavel, demanding order. But it was already too late. The room had exploded. Phones shot up, recording what they could, even though cameras weren't supposed to be allowed. Whispered gasps turned into murmurs. She said tapes. Is she talking about Stevie J? What's on those tapes? Bambi's lawyer stood, objecting furiously. But Momma D wasn't finished. She leaned forward, pointing straight at Bambi, her voice trembling with raw emotion. "You think you slick? Sitting here acting like the victim when you know damn well what you've been doing. You think Scrappy don't know? You think the world won't find out? Stevie J's tapes don't lie, Bambi. They don't lie." The words echoed like a bomb going off. Bambi's calm mask cracked. She slammed her hands down on the table, rising halfway out of her seat. "Don't you dare bring Stevie J into this. You don't know what you're talking about." The courtroom erupted into chaos. The judge pounded the gavel again and again, yelling for order, but nobody could focus. The whispers turned into shouts. The words Stevie J tapes bounced from mouth to mouth like wildfire. What tapes? What could possibly be on them? And why did Momma D choose this moment in front of a judge to drag them into the light? Reporters scribbled furiously. Fans on Twitter who were lucky enough to be inside the courthouse started posting cryptic updates. "Oh my God, y'all. Scrappy's mom just went OFF on Bambi in front of everybody. She said something about Stevie J's tapes. Hashtag LHHATL. This courtroom is a war zone right now. Bambi screaming Momma D not backing down. Judge looks done." Inside, the bailiff moved closer, ready to step in if things turned physical. Bambi's lawyer tried to calm her down, tugging at her sleeve, but she shook him off, her voice rising. "This is a setup. She trying to drag me down with her lies. Don't nobody care about no fake-ass tapes." But the denial only fueled the flames. Momma D rose to her feet, her voice cutting through Bambi's fake. "Oh, baby, there's nothing fake about it. Those tapes are real, and you know exactly what's on them. You can lie to this judge, you can lie to these people. But you can't lie forever." Every eye in the room stayed locked on the two women. Their war of words, louder than the pounding gavel, for a moment, felt less like a courtroom and more like a reunion episode of Love and Hip Hop gone nuclear. The judge finally snapped, threatening to clear the courtroom if order wasn't restored. Bambi sat down hard, her chest rising and falling, her jaw clenched tight. Momma D eased back into her seat, but the smirk tugging at the corner of her lips said she wasn't finished. Not by a long shot, because the tapes were out there. And now the whole world knew it. The gavel slammed again and again, echoing like thunder in the courtroom, but order was already gone. The judge's voice boomed, demanding silence, yet no one could focus on the bench anymore. All eyes were locked on the clash unfolding between Momma D and Bambi. It wasn't just a disagreement, it was a full-blown eruption. And the mention of Stevie J's secret tapes had turned the courtroom into ground zero for a scandal that could shake. Atlanta. The bailiff moved closer, standing between the women, but neither of them backed down. Bambi's face flushed red as she pointed across the room, her voice sharp enough to cut through the shouts. "You don't know what you're talking about, D. You just want attention. You've been messy your whole life, and now you're dragging my name through your circus." Gasps rippled across the rows of spectators. The courtroom wasn't supposed to sound like a reunion taping, but at that moment it did. The audience leaned forward, some covering their mouths, others holding up their phones in defiance of the no recording rules. Momma D shot up from her chair again, her voice shaking with fury. "Attention! Baby, please. I don't need no spotlight. I've been the spotlight. I'm here to speak the truth, Scrappy, too scared to say. And if you can't handle the truth, maybe you should have thought about that before Stevie's little tapes started making rounds." The room exploded again. The judge's gavel was drowned out completely. "Order in my court." The judge yelled, his voice straining. But even he seemed to realize control was slipping. Bambi pounded the table with her palm, her composure completely gone. "There are no tapes. This is lies. She making it up because she jealous, because she can't stand the fact I was with Scrappy and she ain't in control of him no more." The accusation hit hard. Even Scrappy, who had been silent in the corner, shifted uncomfortably. His eyes darted between his mother and his ex, his jaw tightening. Everyone saw it. Everyone knew this wasn't just about old grudges. This was deeper. The whispers spread fast. What names? Who else was tied to Stevie J's scandal? And if Bambi wasn't on those tapes, why did her reaction look like pure panic? From the second row, a woman whispered, "If Stevie got recordings, it ain't just about music. That man, messy. He keeps everything." Her friend nodded, eyes wide. If her name on them files, this whole marriage fight with Scrappy looks different. The speculation spread like wildfire. Some whispered about infidelity. Others wondered if the tapes exposed money schemes. A few even guessed it was about alliances, late-night conversations where people said too much, never realizing someone like Stevie J Matove been recording outside the courtroom. Word traveled faster than the judge could pound the gavel. Paparazzi huddled near the entrance, already shouting questions to anyone who left. What did Momma D say about the tapes? Is Bambi on the recordings? And then, as if on cue, Stevie J himself posted a cryptic Instagram story, a black screen with 3 words in white text. Keep watching. The internet imploded. Not Stevie teasing the tapes now. Oh nah, this about to be a movie. If he got video and audio, Bambi, done. Back in court, Bambi finally dropped into her chair. Her face pale, but her jaw locked. She whispered furiously to her lawyer, who scribbled notes. But it was clear that damage had already been done. Momma D leaned back, her smirk returning. Her voice quieter now, but still dripping with venom. You can deny it all you want, baby girl. But the truth don't stay buried forever. The judge finally called for a recess, slamming his gavel with enough force to rattle the room. This court will reconvene in 30 minutes. I expect order when we return. But order was long gone. Reporters bolted for the hallways, fans texted updates to group chats. And the phrase Stevie J's secret tapes was now permanently stamped across the story. Inside, Bambi sat frozen, her eyes locked straight ahead, but her mind clearly racing. Scrappy avoided eye contact, shifting uncomfortably, knowing the storm was far from over. And Momma D? She sat calm, almost satisfied, like a queen who had just declared war and was ready for whatever came next. Because one thing was clear, it wasn't about to end in that courtroom. The tapes were real, and the world wouldn't rest until they knew what was on them. The recess was supposed to calm the storm. Instead, it opened the floodgates by the time the judge called for 30 minutes of silence. The courtroom wasn't the only place buzzing. Outside in the hallways, people pulled out their phones, frantically typing, recording, whispering to anyone who would listen. The phrase Stevie J's secret tapes had already left the courthouse and was ricocheting across Atlanta like gunfire. Reporters huddled near the steps, live streaming to their followers. Y'all, this is bigger than we thought. Momma D just accused Bambi of being tied to Stevie J's tapes. She said names are on them. This ain't hearsay anymore. This is war. But it didn't stop at words. Minutes later, the first leak appeared. A grainy, muffled audio clip hit Twitter, posted by an anonymous account that claimed to have friends in the courtroom. The sound was distorted, but voices could be heard, Stevie J's unmistakable laugh, followed by a woman's voice that fans swore sounded exactly like Bambi. The clip was only 15 seconds long, but it was enough. Enough to send timelines into chaos. Hold up. Is that Bambi's voice on the Stevie J tape? Oh my God, she done. That's her. I know her voice anywhere. Could be edited though. Don't fall for it until we get more. The hashtags lit up instantly. Hashtag Stevie J tapes, hashtag Bambi exposed, hashtag Momma D was right. The blogs moved fast. Within an hour, the Shade Room reposted the audio with the caption, "Alleged audio from Stevie J's secret tapes surfaces after ATL courtroom chaos." Do y'all hear what we hear? Hollywood Unlocked followed suit, adding fuel. Insiders say this is just the beginning. More clips dropping soon. Bambi under fire after Momma D's courtroom blow-up. Bambi's name trended nationwide. The internet turned her into a meme. A TikTok edit showed her courtroom reaction with dramatic music. Flashing text, "When the tapes ain't so secret anymore." Millions of views poured in within hours. Inside the courtroom, Bambi sat rigid when her lawyer whispered the news. Her face drained of color as he held up his phone to show her the clip. Her lips moved fast, protesting, denying. But the whispers from the gallery told her everything. The world wasn't waiting for evidence. The world already believed. Scrappy rubbed his forehead, his body slouched with exhaustion. He hadn't spoken yet, but his silence screamed louder than words. Fans online caught every angle of him looking down, avoiding cameras, and interpreted it as guilt, embarrassment, or both. And then Stevie J, never one to let attention pass him by, poured gasoline on the fire. He posted a second cryptic Instagram story, this time with audio. A muffled beat played under a recording of him laughing, followed by a single sentence. If you know, you know. The internet went nuclear. Stevie taunting us now. He got the whole city in a chokehold. Drop the full tapes, stop playing. If Stevie leaking this on purpose, he's evil genius level messy. Theories exploded. Some swore the tapes were years old, relics from late-night sessions at Stevie J's infamous studio gatherings. Others believed they were brand new, proof of recent betrayals. A growing faction claimed it wasn't about infidelity at all, that the tapes contained shady business deals, side money exchanges, or conversations that could destroy reputations beyond relationships. But one thing united everyone. The demand to hear more and more came. Another clip surfaced, this time on TikTok. The audio was still scratchy, but clearer than before. A man's voice again, sounding unmistakably like Stevie J, could be heard saying, "Don't let Scrappy find out." That was enough to send shockwaves. The clip didn't reveal the context, didn't reveal the what, but the who was enough. If Stevie himself was cautioning someone not to let Scrappy find out, then whatever was on those tapes was personal, dangerous, and damning. Inside the courtroom, Momma D leaned back in her chair, her arms folded, her smirk unshaken. She didn't need to say another word. The leaks were speaking for her. Every headline, every repost, every whisper outside those four walls was painting her as the one who told the truth first. Meanwhile, Bambi couldn't stay still. She whispered furiously to her lawyer, shaking her head, her nails drumming against the table. Her denial grew louder. "That's not me. That's not me." But the louder she insisted, the more people doubted. Online, the comments were brutal. If it wasn't her, why is she screaming in court like that? Guilty vibes. These tapes about to ruin Bambi. No cap, Scrappy need to say something now. Scrappy's silence became its own storyline. Fans demanded answers. His socials filled with comments. "Speak on it, Scrap. Where you at? Your mama dragging your wife, and Stevie got tapes, and you Mia." Producers of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta couldn't have scripted it better. But this wasn't just a storyline. It was spiraling into something real because the leaks weren't stopping. By late afternoon, another account dropped what it claimed was part 3. The audio was muffled laughter, followed by a female voice saying, "He don't gotta know." That one sentence broke the internet. Blogs ran wild with speculation. Who didn't need to know? What was being hidden? And was the voice really Bambi's? The court hadn't even reconvened yet, but the trial didn't matter anymore. In the court of public opinion, the verdict was already forming, and the jury was millions of fans watching in real dash time. By the time everyone returned to the courtroom, the energy was unbearable. Reporters had updated their stories, fans outside screamed questions, and security had to push back, the crowd swarming the steps. Inside, whispers buzzed like static. People scrolling furiously through their phones for the latest leak. The judge banged the gavel again, trying to restore order, but everyone knew the trial wasn't about legal documents anymore. It was about those tapes, what they contained, who was on them, and whether Stevie J would let the world hear them in full. Momma D sat still, unbothered, as though the leaks were proof she'd been right all along. Bambi sat stiff, her eyes darting, her lips pressed tight. Scrappy leaned back, his face unreadable. But the weight of the world was clearly pressing on him, and everyone watching knew. The leaks were only just beginning. The first leaks had already set the internet on fire. But what came next made the nightclub fight, the courtroom outburst, and even Momma D's meltdown look like appetizers. If those short audio clips were sparks, the insider leaks were gasoline poured straight onto the flames. By the evening, gossip pages were flooded with posts from accounts claiming to have heard the full tapes. At first, fans laughed it off. Social media is full of clout chasers. The first insider leak didn't waste time. A long thread appeared on Twitter under the headline, "What's really on Stevie J's tapes thread?" #LHHATL. The tweets painted a scandalous picture. Allegedly, the tapes weren't just random studio chatter or harmless conversations. They contained late-night recordings from Stevie J's studio sessions, where alcohol flowed, secrets slipped, and the cameras weren't rolling. And in those recordings, names. real names. According to the thread, one tape caught a female voice, supposedly Bambi's, venting about her marriage to Scrappy. She allegedly complained about his temper, his spending, and even hinted that she wouldn't stick around if not for the kids. Worse, the insider claimed the recording also captured her joking that Scrappy's mom, Momma D, was a relic stuck in the past. That alone explained the courtroom blow-up. Fans went wild. If Bambi called Momma D a relic on tape, ooh-hoo, it's over. Now I see why D dragged her in court like that. She felt disrespected. ATL finna explode if this true. Stevie got everybody on lock. But the leaks didn't stop there. Another insider alleged that a second tape included Jock's name, but not in the way fans expected. Supposedly, Scrappy could be heard mocking Jock's business hustle, saying he ain't built for longevity and rides Kirk's coattails. That twist flipped the narrative. Suddenly, fans weren't just looking at Bambi's drama. They were connecting the dots to why Jock was so heated in the nightclub. Hold up. So Scrappy been talking crazy about Jock too. Makes sense now why Jock was pointing in his chest like that? He knew Scrap been shady. This more than personal. This about ATL hierarchy. The third leak was even messier. Screenshots of alleged transcripts circulated, supposedly from another recording where Scrappy was heard telling Stevie J that Kirk would never have Rashida if it wasn't for his money and that Rashida settled for stability, not love. Whether true or not, the alleged quote ignited the internet like never before. Fans swarmed Rashida. The silence became its own scandal. Scrappy's refusal to defend either woman left fans speculating that he didn't know who to believe, or worse, that he already knew the truth and didn't want to say it out loud. Meanwhile, Stevie J doubled down, posting yet another tease. A black and white picture of a cassette tape with the caption, "Y'all ain't heard nothing yet." Fans went insane. He trolling, but I want the FULL tapes now. Stevie, really, the Thanos of a tailman. Got all the Infinity tapes. Back in Atlanta, the streets buzzed with rumors. Club promoters whispered about banning certain stars until the dust settled. Stylists and assistants leaked their own takes to blogs, saying tensions backstage were worse than anyone realized. One even claimed Scrappy and Bambi hadn't been seen together since the courtroom blow-up. All the while, Momma D basked in the storm. She posted a selfie in front of her mirror, crown emoji in the caption with the words, "I said what I said." #truth hurts. Fans swarmed the comments, crowning her the MVP of the scandal. But beneath the laughter and memes, the stakes were clear. These weren't just rumors anymore. They were reputations, marriages, and careers on the line. Rashida had been dragged, Jock's name had surfaced. Scrappy's silence was deafening. And Bambi was one leak away from being swallowed whole. The entire cast knew it, and the industry knew it too. What started in one Atlanta courtroom was now a wildfire threatening to consume everyone in its path. And just when fans thought it couldn't get messier, insiders whispered that more tapes were about to drop. The public wasn't just watching anymore. They were waiting, refreshing, hungry for the next bombshell. And the scariest part? Stevie J hadn't even started yet. Just when the dust seemed like it might settle, Atlanta insiders whispered the words everyone feared. There's more. The first tapes were messy, but survivable accusations, wild claims, shady conversations, enough to humiliate, but not enough to end careers. But now the whisper said Stevie J had unreleased footage, not just audio, but full video recordings, hidden away like nuclear weapons. The rumor spread like wildfire. One tape allegedly showed private late-night calls between Bambi and another love and hip-hop star, a man not named Scrappy. Another was said to catch a shocking fight between Rashida and Kirk, with Scrappy's name being thrown into the chaos. And the darkest leak. Some insiders swore Stevie had a tape linking Scrappy himself to conversations that betrayed both his mom and his wife. The idea alone sent shockwaves. If true, it wouldn't just embarrass Scrappy, it would destroy every fragile alliance left standing. Behind the scenes, alliances were already shifting. Rashida, embarrassed by her name being dragged, was rumored to be teaming up with Sierra and Spice to confront Bambi privately before filming resumed. One insider leaked a text allegedly from Spice to Rashida. "Let's sit down and settle this before cameras catch it. If Bambi wants smoke, she getting it." Meanwhile, Momma D wasn't backing down. She had reportedly called producers directly, demanding that cameras roll as soon as possible. "You better catch this mess on film. People want to see the truth, and I'ma give it to them." But Bambi had gone dark. No posts, no stories, no lives. Her silence became a storyline on its own. Fans flooded her comments, begging for answers. "Sis, where you at? Blink twice if you good. If you not defending yourself, it's true. Don't let Momma D bully you. Speak." The longer she stayed quiet, the more the rumors grew. Then came the most chilling moment yet. A major Atlanta blog posted a screenshot of a DM, allegedly from Stevie J, himself claiming he was ready to drop part 2 of the tapes unless certain people stop fronting like they innocent. The message ended with a devil emoji. That one screenshot flipped everything upside down. Suddenly, this wasn't just scandal. It was blackmail. Fans debated nonstop, was Stevie bluffing? Or was he really holding on to recordings that could torch the entire Love and Hip Hop Atlanta cast? And then, as if on cue, the leak of a blurred video still hit Twitter. The image was grainy, but it showed 2 figures on a FaceTime call. One looked like Bambi, the other. Fans swore it was none other than Stevie J himself. If real, it suggested she wasn't just being exposed, she may have been collaborating with him all along. The timeline exploded. Wait, was Bambi working with Stevie behind Scrappy's back? This ain't cheating scandal anymore. This sabotage, if she plotted with Stevie. Scrappy done. Producers scrambled to contain the chaos, but it was too late. Every new rumor, every blurry screenshot, every whispered insider leak kept fueling the fire. And then, at the height of the frenzy, Momma D dropped a bomb of her own. She went live, pacing her living room, crown sitting proudly on her head. Her voice shook with fury as she stared straight into the camera. "I told y'all this wasn't over. That girl been playing games with my son's name, with my family's legacy, and I refuse to sit quiet. Stevie J can drop all the tapes he want, but when I come with mine, ain't nobody walking away clean." The live cut off suddenly mid-sentence, mid-shout, leaving viewers stunned. Within minutes, fans were convinced Momma D had her own tapes, her own receipts, ready to counterstrike. The stage was set for a war bigger than anything Atlanta had ever seen. Stevie J teasing more tapes. Momma D threatening her own. Bambi silent, her reputation hanging by a thread. Rashida, Spice, and Erica circling like sharks. And Scrappy, the man at the center of it all, still refusing to choose a side. Still acting like silence would save him. But silence wasn't saving anyone. Not anymore. The whispers turned into a roar. The next drop changes everything. And if the rumors were true, and those new tapes hit the internet, it wouldn't just be a scandal, it would be the end of relationships, the collapse of friendships, and maybe even the final nail in the coffin for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, as fans knew it. Because this wasn't just messy drama. This was a bomb waiting to explode, and Stevie J's finger was on the button. And there you have it. Atlanta's courtroom just became the hottest stage in hip-hop, and the fallout is only beginning. Lil Scrappy's mom has gone OFB. Bambi's silence is louder than any denial, and Stevie J's secret tapes. They're still dangling like dynamite, waiting to blow. The real question now is simple. Who's holding the winning card? Is Stevie J bluffing, or does he really have video proof that could end Bambi and shake Scrappy's entire world? Did Momma D just expose the truth? Or is she dragging her son into a war he can't escape? And what happens when Rashida, Spice, Erica, and the rest of the cast decide to jump in? Because if history tells us anything, once the cameras roll, nobody stays quiet. We want to know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Are you Team Momma D or Team Bambi? Do you believe Stevie J's tapes are real or just another stunt? And if another leak drops, Whose career gets torched first? Don't just watch the drama, control the story. Hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single twist. Because trust me, the next drop isn't just going to be messy. It's going to change everything you thought you knew about Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. The courtroom was just the beginning. The real war, it's coming. And when those tapes hit the internet, somebody's life will never be the same again. This is bigger than beef. This is betrayal, revenge, and survival. Stay locked in because the next chapter will shake Atlanta to its core. Shake Atlanta to its core.